What's up, guys? It's Parallax Abstraction, and this is Retro Flashback, showcasing gaming's roots for a new generation. Man, you ever have one of those games that was much better in your historical mind than it was in the current day? Yeah, that's kind of what this is. I remember playing this back in my local arcade called the Fire Button back in the day, and, well, I tried it again recently, and, ooh, hindsight 2020 and whatnot. So this is Crime City. I don't know why I always have to say the title that way in my mind, but I totally do. It's Crime City, where you're playing the Supreme Law. Oh my, yes. So this is a pretty basic action platformer that came out from Taito in 1989. Interestingly enough, this was a game that you could not buy on its own if you were an arcade operator. It was only sold as a conversion kit, meaning that it came with all the bits to change a different arcade cabinet into this one. Based on there's not a lot of information about this game out there. Also, look at this amazing story. Prison breakers on my day off? Shucks. Well, let's go for a kill time. Oh yeah, these guys are badass. One of these guys has the last name of Brody, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, this is a fairly basic action platformer. Based on the type of graphics and the music in it, I'm guessing this is a conversion for other Taito cabinets like Chase HQ or something of that nature, because it has a similar graphical style, and the sound chip is, I believe, the same based on the way the music is and whatnot. There's not a lot of info out there because this game was probably a massive flop, because any game that was even remotely popular in arcades back in the day usually got a home conversion, and Taito was very big into that at the time. This game came out in the arcades, period. It does not exist anywhere else as far as I can tell. So you're basically seeing what the idea is here. You're going around and killing a bunch of guys. So this is the boss for the first level. The levels are not very long. Ah, damn, he got me. So you have a life bar in this, which is mostly for taking physical damage from like melee attacks and whatnot. If you get hit by a bullet, you're basically dead straight up. So that's the end of that one. The Daily Taito says, "Catch hold of prison breakers." The English in this is just fantastic. It's great. Round 2 is a bank robbery. And you get in a chopper because, of course, this is how you fight crime. Actually, no, this is how you fight crime. Oh, yeah. It's pretty clear. Someone pointed out in an article, one of the few articles I could find on this game when I was researching it, is that the two characters in this look an awful lot like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover's characters from Lethal Weapon. Ah, dude. And this is pretty much a rip-off of that. So, alright, so we picked up that gun there. So, that's a shotgun, which is basically the equivalent of the Contra spread gun. And, I mean, obviously scenes like this are very indicative of Lethal Weapon, right? Like, we're killing a bunch of guys on moving cars where no one seems to care about it because, of course, we are. So, and this is the idea. This is a very short game. It has 6 stages, and you're going through. There's a hilariously bad story involved and everything else, and your goal is just to get to the end of the levels. Okay, so we made it to the garage where with the hilariously out of proportion cars. And as you go, and your main purpose, this being an arcade game, is to get the highest score you can. There's actually a little interesting score mechanic I'll show you in this if I can get past the top score in this, which if I recall is not that hard, because I believe this game has the scoring system sin of not resetting your score if you continue. So it basically allows people to reach the top score by just credit feeding. So I do not like these fat guys who jump. So, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, so you can punch guys if you get up in their face. I don't know how you dodge those. You can also kill enemies by simply rolling into them. So, if you press down on a diagonal and press the jump button, well, you can't roll into a car, but yeah, so it doesn't reset the score when you continue. So, basically, the scoring system is completely pointless. Yeah, so you can punch guys if you get up close to them. You can also kill a lot of the guys by just rolling into them, because that has the same impact as, you know, a bullet or some such, as you can see right there. And if you get guns, you can shoot fools. And that's pretty much the meat of it. It's really, really simple. So, okay. Now, this was a bit interesting. This is also where things ripped off Contra a little bit, where they went into this vertical view, though it was not as impressive as Contra was because it was only one screen. You wouldn't scroll forward through multiple screens with multiple scenarios. So this is very reminiscent of Contra or later NAM 1975, which was another game I covered on the channel at one point, which was pretty, you know, That game was alright, but though it was super mean. So, yeah, this is a game. You can also jump higher by holding up and pressing the jump button. There's only 2 buttons in this. Crap. And some of these guys drop these things, which most people believe to be little, basically packs of coke, which I presume you're taking for safekeeping in police custody rather than, you know, using yourself to keep yourself energized for these massively complicated fights. I mean, that would be my assumption, right? I mean, that's what good, honorable cops like these guys would do, right? So here's a funny bit. So you'll see these guys who has got a hostage. So... Ah, shoot, I got him. So when you see those guys, if you can shoot them and kill them dead and free the hostage, you get a little extra bonus, essentially. But you can also kill the hostage. But the only penalty you get for that is the guy basically puts his hands over his face and goes, no! Well, doesn't even do that. I'm going to see if I can make it happen because it's hysterical. But yeah, I mean, this game is one of those titles that was fairly prolific in the arcade industry in the sense that it was just a cheap cash-in of a bunch of different other games that did things well before, right? Like, I mean, obviously they were trying to cash in on the Lethal Weapon buddy cop sort of movie phenomenon, and there's elements of this that are reminiscent of Contra, of even a little bit of Final Fight. You know, a lot of other games like that. It's really a cynical, pretty poorly done title, and it was only sold as a conversion kit, which means that it was designed for a quick and easy way if you were an operator who owned other Taito machines that maybe weren't earning as much anymore, to have a quick turnaround, something you bought relatively inexpensively, spent like an hour converting it, and that was it. Let's see if I can do it here. Usually it's relatively easy to kill the hostage, but they're actually making it kind of tough on me this time. So that's the boss. And yeah, it was designed to be a very... Okay. Darn, maybe I don't know if I'll be able to get the kill on the hostage. It's pretty hilarious. He basically holds his hands over his eyes and just goes, no! It's pretty great. Catch hold of bank robbery! Yeah, it totally looks like I arrested that guy instead of, you know, murdering him in the face and whatnot. So yeah, this is a game that really had no aspirations of being high art. I mean, this was something that was probably mandated internally at Taito to create. It was supposed to be a cheap conversion game for operators who needed an inexpensive way to get more money out of an existing investment in an arcade machine. My guess is that this was maybe originally released as a conversion kit for a game that... What in hell place am I at? This was originally released as a conversion kit for a game that probably didn't do very well, so it may not have been Chase HQ, because Chase HQ was actually quite popular. And they just went, okay, here's a cheap way to take that cabinet and turn it into something that might earn you a little bit more and help you get some more of your money back, you know, that kind of thing. It's just not... It's just not quality at all. And it's a shame, because I actually do remember this rather fondly. Maybe it was just because it was a relatively easy game for me to get into at my local arcade and score high on, because not a lot of other people played it. But yeah, it's just ideal. I mean, it had a couple of neat ideas. You know, the fact that no. There, yeah, there. He just goes, no. That's what happens when you kill a hostage. No penalty for that, you know. Basically, I mean, well, through this entire game, I've been breaking every sense of decency when it comes to being a proper cop, obviously. But yeah, that's all that happens. You kill a hostage, he's just like, oh, that's so sad. Moving on, let's murder some more people. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, this is one of those games that's endearing in the sense that it was so effortless and so weak. You know, I mean, it plays fine. It doesn't play well, but like it's fully functional. It's not buggy. You know, it's ridiculous and it's ridiculous and dumb, but you know, it plays fine. But it's one of those things that I do, to a certain degree, look at with a little bit of hilarious reverence, just because you can look at it and go, man, this was totally a thing that they sold for money and that people put quarters into, theoretically, to play. Though I'm guessing, as I said before, that this probably sold so badly it must have completely bombed because there was no home conversions of this at all. And there were some bad arcade games that nonetheless got home conversions because they were cheap to make at the time. You know, this is when making a console game didn't require, you know, the GDP of a small country to produce like it does today. Oh, God. So, I mean, you can see here, I've been playing this for 10 minutes, and, like, I'm almost halfway through it. So, I mean, if you credit feed this sucker, you could get through this in, like, half an hour, right? It's pretty hilarious. I'm out of bullets. Okay, well, all I had to do was punch that guy. Oh, man. Catch hold of smugglers. You see, I didn't arrest that guy. I murdered him. Oh, yes. They kidnapped the mayor, who's this old guy going like, oh, man! Yeah, that's where the story in this goes, is they kidnap the mayor, and the mayor is like an evil twin mayor or something. It's ridiculous. But as you can see here, like, this game actually starts out pretty easy. Like, that first level is dead simple, and it sort of eases you into things. But then the problem is, this is one of those titles that is cynically trying to credit feed out of you by being really, really cheap and mean later on. You know, enemies drop in out of nowhere with no warning. A lot of them are one-hit kills. You can't really tell when they're gonna. You can't really tell when they're gonna hit you unless you play through the level multiple times. You know, any bullet in this is a one-hit kill, despite the fact that you have a health meter. These later enemies, as you see, you can't kill in one hit by simply rolling into them. They have very long-range weapons. It just gets super cheap later on, and this is a game, like, I could see it being near impossible to one credit clear this unless you had a lot of luck, because I think a lot of these enemies probably do drop in at specific times, but a lot of them sort of spawn randomly as well. So, and like, you, by the way, you can't aim up, so you want to kill these twits, who of course have multiple hit points. You've got to jump super high and then get them that way, because you can't just point your gun into the air like, you know, anyone else could. So, and yeah, the score doesn't reset when you continue, so it's really just designed, you know, like a lot of modern free-to-play games are. So, hi there, Mr. Flamethrower. It's designed to encourage credit feeding, basically going, rather than say, hey, because one of my scoring system sins, I've been meaning to do a video project someday on scoring systems and what I think the best ones are. But basically, scoring systems need to incentivize skilled play, right? In my opinion, anyway. And one of the key ways you do that is by making it so that when you continue, your score resets, because there's the bear! God, that's bad art. Hey guys, a dog leash jumping at you there. So kidnapping too. So yeah, we're at 13 minutes and we're almost done this game. So you can see, I mean, maybe I'll just finish this in this video. I mean, why the hell not at the rate I'm going? I can just credit feed through it. So, and I mean, maybe this is the other reason this didn't get a console port, is because even by console standards, this would be obscenely short. Oh, look, a laser gun, because that's what happens in Crime City. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's just, because the scoring system doesn't reset, essentially what it's doing is telling you, hey, don't worry about getting good at this game and trying to get as many points as you can in one clear, especially because there's so much randomness in this game that there's a good chance you're going to get screwed out of it anyway. That's health, by the way, even though it looks like I'm drinking like a bottle of kerosene or something. That's actually health there. Screw you, laser gun. It's basically saying, yeah, pump money into this thing, and you can just basically brute force your way to the high score to be better than your friends. So it's kind of like, you know, hey kid, you want to be better than your friends, don't you? Yeah, you don't want to let that guy take the top score. So just give us lots more money, and we'll make sure you get it. Yeah, that's not cool. But this is a game that is very, like I said, despite the fact that I remember kind of enjoying it back in the day, this is hyper cynical in its design, and pretty much it's really transparent in terms of how just cynically designed this was. Like I said, it was designed to be, yeah, all right, that was kind of cool. It was designed to be a cheap cash-in game to give arcade operators a cheap way to convert another cabinet and rake a little more money out. And this was clearly designed just to be, these guys are just dropping from the sky. It's like, oh man. Yeah, it wasn't designed with quality in mind. I mean, you know, I very much on board with the adage that nobody initially sets out to make a bad game. You know, the guys who made this game, I'm guessing with probably no money and an extremely short timeline, were kind of like, you know, we want to, they didn't set out going, oh, we're going to make this garbage, cynical cash-in, right? Hey, Mayor, you're really weirdly proportioned. Also, don't you love how they misspelled kidnapping there? Oh, yeah, it's great. Okay, so I'm lowering on a crane, fighting other guys on cranes, because of course I am. Oh, I can control the crane. Okay, I haven't actually played this far in the game before, so I think we're just going to finish this, because we're already at 15 minutes, and we're on what I do know to be the last level, so why the hell not? Yeah, I'm sure the people who made this didn't be like, all right, we're going to make this crappy, cynical cash-in conversion thing. You know, it's going to be awesome. They were just told, hey, we need to make a cheap conversion game and you need to do it quickly. And I'm sure they tried the best they could. But, yeah, everything about this is poor quality and just based around, you know, kind of scummy corporate business. And because... Oh, hi, Chopper. I have to... apparently take out this chopper with guns. Wow, you want to talk cheap? Holy crap. Okay, it looks like I can't even kill it. Or maybe you can if you put enough bullets in it, but... And we're back down here. And look at all the fire bombs. Oh, dang. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, as you can see, like, it's just... This is a game that was mandated by some business people rather than people who wanted to make a good action platformer. And it's kind of a shame because, you know, the cheesy idea of, you know, hey, guys getting lowered from cranes and battling, in, you know, on top of cars and traffic and stuff, that's not inherently bad. In fact, that's kind of a cool, goofy premise. And I love the Lethal Weapon movies. I love a good... you know, ridiculous, completely over-the-top action thing. I ain't got no problem with that at all. There's a very good idea in there. I think it probably would have been better suited as a brawler instead of a, like, one-shot... Really? What are those bricks hanging on? Come on! At least respect physics, people! God! Okay, that was really weird. But, you know, I can respect that stuff. I love good, stupid action. And you could have done it probably even in sort of this, you know, run-and-gun platforming way. But this was so clearly designed around maximum credit feeding between the scoring system and the random number generation. Oh, yeah, there's the mayor's apparent evil twin. The mayor has a rocket launcher, the mayor that I rescued. But you would know that when, you know, you're doing this. I'm assuming this gets explained after, and that I haven't seen the end of this. I'm assuming that gets explained after, and that was really just designed as kind of a mind... What is this dog doing? That dog was freaking out. He was like, screw this! I'm out! Peace! I ain't got no place in Crime City! The mayor is also one tough mutter, as it turns out. Sorry, Dougie. Well... I did not, I knew this game was short. I didn't know it was short enough that I was going to be able to finish the game in an entire video, but well, you get why this wasn't very popular and why this probably wouldn't have flown as a home game if it actually got conversions, at least not without a lot more content in it. Can I even get up there? Oh, I can. Okay. Oh, I got him. What the? Oh, okay, so there he is. He shows up. Does it even explain it? Succeeded in rescuing Mayor. Thanks, Daily Taito. Nope, it doesn't talk about that at all. Congratulations! Yeah, so... Funny enough, yep, and that's it. So, 19 minutes from front to back, and I did it in, what, about less than $5 worth of quarters, I guess? Catty Skylark. Lady prisoner. Jailbreaker having a knife. Jailbreaker having a pistol. Jailbreaker having a machine gun. These are people's names. Joe Condemner Crimina? What does that even mean? What the hell's a G-Jumper? Mass Burglar A. Yeah, this game's terrible. I don't know why I had such reverence for it back in my youth. It's awful. You probably shouldn't play it. Interestingly enough, despite the fact that I don't think it was very popular, it did actually... It's sold well enough that there are actually arcade boards out there if you want to pick it up that aren't very expensive because, well, this wasn't very popular. But yeah, it's not good. Taito released a lot of other better, like, cheesy police games in this era, like Chase HQ, for instance. Chase HQ was great. I should cover that someday. There's just nothing really redeemable about this. This was the one cool thing here, is that, so there was no leaderboards in this game, but there was a top score, and the person who had the top score got to sign their name this way. Rather than having initials, you could actually draw, like, a picture if you wanted. I'm being bad about it because I ain't got no art, you know, and I'm not going to be the typical YouTuber who just draws a massive penis. But you basically got to do that. Of course, the high score didn't save, so if the cabinet was reset, that went away. And obviously, there's not much honor attached to that cool system when you can, you know, credit feed your way into getting the high score. But it was neat nonetheless. That's the one sort of cool thing they did in this that they didn't do in a lot of other arcade games in the day that I thought was kind of neat. But yeah, this is a pretty bad game. You can beat it in 20 minutes. There's just nothing really redeeming about it. You know, play games like Final Fight or other. If you want a game about killing guys in a crime-infested city, Final Fight is one of the best go-tos for that kind of thing, and that's available in many different places. I'd highly recommend that. This is just not. This is poor, and probably should have stayed in my memory, but you know, you live and learn, I suppose. So, yeah, that is Crime City, developed and published by Taito in 1989. It is only available in arcades. There is no home console version that I know of. I wouldn't waste your time, personally. You've literally seen the whole thing, and it might be a little more fun if you ran through it really quick with a friend, but, you know, play Contra or something instead, man. There's so much better options out there. Yeah, don't bother. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked what you saw here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That does help me out a great deal. If you want to watch something else, check out the videos on screen now, and don't forget to follow @PXA Media on Twitter to find out about new stuff first.